welcome to my very first episode of Mom Time Out. I'm your host, Heather, wellness coach, and the friend who gets it because I'm right there with you in those trenches. If you're someone who has been juggling a million things at once, feeling like you're always last on your to do list, and wondering if it's even possible to carve out time for yourself, then this is the podcast for you. So go grab a cup of coffee, grab your tea, grab some water, find a comfy spot, or just keep doing you, which is probably working or cleaning. So just keep listening and let's dive into the real talk. I'm about to tell you what this podcast is all about, how it came to be, and why it should be your new go to space for all the truth bombs, the laughs, and the real mom moments. Okay, so let's talk about the name. Mom Time Out. I don't know about you, but I have definitely had my fair share of moments where I have felt like I've needed to hit the pause button, whether it was to get my head on straight or just to avoid trying to break down in front of my kids. And side note, I do break down in front of my kids. I am no stranger to showing my emotions in front of them, and they can show their emotions as well. So it's a two-way street. I'm a mom of three, two girls. One is 12 and the other is 11, both going on 16. If you know, you know. And a 5-year-old boy who wreaks absolute havoc on my house. And there are just days where I need a timeout, multiple, actually. Not just to be away from the chaos, but to be able to recharge mentally, physically, and oh my gosh, emotionally. We give so much to ourselves. We give our time, we give our energy, we give our love to everyone around us. But somewhere along the way, we forget that we need a little bit of that energy for, us. So, mom timeout is my way of saying it is okay to take a break. In fact, it's absolutely necessary. The title really came from me needing to take a step back, having that quiet space to breathe, even if it's only for a minute. And honestly, I want this podcast to be that space for you. This is your permission slip to hit that pause button, whether it's for a quick episode, a moment to breathe deeply, or just take a few minutes of not being on for anyone else because you truly do deserve it. I see you. Now, let's talk about mindset. I don't care how many yoga poses you do or smoothies you drink. If your mindset isn't in the right place, it's going to be tough to make it through the day without absolutely losing your mind. Okay? We're going to talk about getting out of survival mode and into thriving mode. It's not about turning into some super mom. What is that anyway? No one has it all figured out. It's about you showing up for yourself in ways that help you actually feel good, not just functional. And hey, let's be real. I'm not here to sugarcoat a damn thing. Sometimes motherhood is hard. Actually, motherhood is always hard. Sometimes you'll feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and most of the time not feeling like you're doing enough. But I'm going to remind you every single week that you are enough. And that is a reminder for myself as well. You're doing more than you think, and it is okay to give yourself credit for it. And let's be honest, no one's life is perfect. We're all just winging it. But it's okay to not have it all together as long as we don't quit trying. That's the beauty of this. When we stop pretending we have everything figured out, we realize we actually don't have to. We just need to keep showing up. So, what's this podcast going to be all about, and why should you stick around? Well, first of all, I am not here to tell you how to be a perfect mom. I'm also not here to give you some impossible standards to live up to. I am here for the real talk, the kind that says, I get it. Life is messy, and so are we. You can expect honest conversations about motherhood, wellness, and taking care of yourself in ways that actually work for you, even if those ways are a little unconventional. Consider me your honest mom friend, a special and well-known trait of an Aries woman. You're welcome. I will say the quiet parts out loud. I will normalize the hardships of motherhood and be a voice for those that are too scared to speak up or feel like a bad mom if they say things like, I hate motherhood. You can love being a mom and hate motherhood all in the same breath. That shit's fucking hard. And we're going to talk about that later. I'm going to share some actionable tips on some time management, nutrition, mindset, and even some simple fitness routines that you could actually do in your living room with your savage toddlers running around you. And let's be clear, there definitely is not going to be any talk about start small and be intentional, because that stuff's for the birds, right? And I'm a wellness coach. I have said those things before, and they're not wrong. I just want to use more relatable language for you. We've all heard it a million times, and it's really enough to make a mom scream. But here is the deal. I am going to be straight with you when it comes to your health and wellness. Because if you don't start taking care of yourself, you will burn out. No, I'm not going to tell you to go take a spa day, but if you can, by all means. Because not everyone has time for that. But what I will tell you is to find time, even if it's just a minute here and there, to do something that is for you. Whether it's sneaking in a couple of deep breaths while you're waiting for your coffee, or locking yourself in the bathroom for a hot second of me time. You deserve it, and no, it does not have to look or be perfect. And speaking of not having your shit together, we're going to dive into a new segment I'm calling Perfection is Overrated. Let's celebrate our mess. You know those messy moments of growth where things aren't going according to plan, but you somehow manage to keep it together? Let's celebrate those. You know, those messy moments of growth where things aren't going according to plan, but somehow you manage to keep it together. Yes, let's celebrate those moments. I've had my fair share of emotional messes. Like the times I've cried in my room after having arguments with my tween daughter. I'm crying because I feel like I'm failing at everything, but especially being a mom. But you know what? Those moments, it reminds me that it's okay to have those breakdowns. You're allowed to feel your feelings. So let's celebrate those emotional messes. It's part of the process. It means you care. It means you're a human. And it means you're strong enough to feel it and keep going. Then there's those messy moments of growth, like when you start trying to carve out time for yourself, even if it's just a few minutes here and there. You try this, you stumble, but you keep at it. That is growth. And that's what we are celebrating. So I want you to think of one of your own messy moments this week. Maybe it's the time you lost it over something small, but then laughed it off later. Or maybe it's those 3 minutes you snuck away for yourself. Whatever it is, give yourself a little high five for it, because that is growth and that is worth celebrating. Okay, before we end, I want to get real with you for just a second. Motherhood can feel incredibly lonely, even when you're surrounded by people. We're all trying to juggle so many things at once. We have kids, we have partners, we have work, life, and sometimes it feels like the only ones who are carrying the weight of it all is ourselves. Even when our kids are running around us, we can feel so isolated in that struggle. But here's the truth. You are not alone in this. We all feel that loneliness at some point in the middle of all that chaos. And it's why community is so important. We need each other. I might parent differently than you, and I know we all have different views and ways of doing things, but we're all doing one of the hardest jobs in the world. And that is something that connects us all. We're here to lift each other up, to remind each other that we're doing our best, and that is more than enough. So let's stick together. We need each other, and that bond is what makes this whole journey worth it. All right, moms, I hope this episode gave you a little bit of a break and reminded you that you are not alone in this. Whether you're listening to this during a chaotic carpool, hiding in the pantry with a chocolate bar, or just trying to make it through the day, know that this podcast is here for you. So if you're ready for more real talk, laughs, and a community of moms who get it, make sure to subscribe, share this with your friends who need a little mom time out too, and don't forget to head over to YouTube and like and subscribe to my channel. I can't wait to be on this journey with you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.